Hello everyone, welcome to the new video lecture of subject Interconnected Power System. Myself Himanshu Joshi, I am an assistant professor in Sri Labhubhai Trivedi Institute of Engineering and Technology, Rajkot. So let's continue our topic from chapter number 6 of our syllabus, that is the power system stability. So in previous lecture we have learned about the steady state stability and steady state stability limits, its factor affecting steady state stability and method to improve the steady state stability. So in today's lecture we are going to discuss transient stability. So let's start with the some basic assumption regarding transient stability analysis. First assumption is that transmission line as well as synchronous machine resistance are ignored. First assumption is that transmission line resistance and synchronous machine resistance are ignored. Second assumption is that we are going to neglect the damper winding of synchronous machine. Clear? We are going to ignore the damper winding of synchronous machine. Third assumption is that rotor speed is assumed to be synchronous. That means there is no change in rotor speed. Rotor speed is synchronous, or we can say that rotor speed is constant. The fourth assumption is mechanical input to machine is remain constant during transient. There is no change in mechanical input to the synchronous machine during transient period. Fifth assumption is voltage behind the transient reactance is assumed to remain constant. That means there is no fluctuation in voltage during transient period. Voltage is constant. The sixth assumption is shunt capacitance are ignored. Effect of shunt capacitance is going to ignore. Seventh assumption is that load are considered to be a constant admittance. Loads which are connected to receiving end are modeled or considered as constant admittance. So these are the seventh assumption that we are going to consider while we are do the transient stability analysis. Now procedure to determine the stability of system. Procedure to determine the stability of system, that how can we say that this system is stable and this system is unstable. So what is the procedure to determine the stability of system? So first step to find out the stability of system or to check the stability of system, that from pre-fault loading determine the voltage behind transient reactance and torque angle of machine with respect to infinite bus. The first step is to determine the voltage of system and torque angle of system with reference to infinite bus. Clear? With reference to infinite bus. This is the first step. Second step is for particular fault or for specified fault determine the power transfer equation during fault. Second step is that we have to find power transfer during fault. For a specified fault, suppose the fault is line to ground or double line to ground or line to line fault, so that particular fault we have to find power transfer during that fault, and we have considered the power transfer is equal to 0 if fault is 3-phase fault. Clear? Now third step, from swing equation starting with delta 0 that we have already find in our step 1. Clear? So from that delta 0 we have to calculate delta as a function of time using numerical technique of solving the non-linear differential equation. That simply means that from starting torque angle, we have to calculate the torque angle during fault as a function of time, So first step, we are going to calculate voltage and reference angle delta 0 with respect to infinite bus. Next step, we are going to calculate power transfer during fault, and we are also calculate the delta during that time interval of fault. Now fourth step is, after clearance of fault, once again determine the power with respect to infinite bus and also calculate the torque angle with respect to time. Clear? So what we are going to do, we are going to calculate delta and voltage with respect to infinite bus, and during that fault we are going to calculate the power and delta, and after clearance of fault again we are going to calculate the power and angle delta. Clear? After clearance of fault we also have to find out again power as a function of delta and delta as a function of time. Now after transmission line is switch on, again find the power as a function of delta and delta as a function of time. So if delta of t goes through a maximum value and start to reduce, the system is stable, and system is unstable if delta of t continues to increase. So we are having a simple logic that before fault we are going to calculate the power transfer as a function of delta and torque angle as a function of time. Now that is the pre-fault value of power and delta. Now we are going to calculate the power as a function of delta and delta as a function of time during that fault duration, and after removal of fault again we are going to calculate the power as a function of delta and delta as a function of time. Clear? Now in that data that we have collected before fault, during fault and after fault, in that data, if delta of t is going through maximum value and after achieving that maximum value, if it will start to reduce, the system is stable, and if that value of delta t is continuously increasing, then system is said to be a unstable system. So that is the procedure to determine or to check the stability of system. Now let's discuss the factors which affect the transient stability limit. Let's discuss the factors which affect the transient stability limit, in which the first factor is total reactance during fault condition and after fault condition. Total reactance xt, suppose total reactance is xt, so reactance during fault condition and after fault condition. So we already know that power transfer is inversely proportional to reactance. Clear? Power transfer is inversely proportional to reactance. So if reactance is small or reactance is small, then power transfer will be high. So we can say that if reactances are small, the transient stability limit will high. So that is the first factor that will affect the transient stability or transient stability limit. So reactances should be small for better transient stability limit. Second point is inertia constant. So if inertia constant is higher for particular synchronous machine, so that synchronous machine will have higher fault clearing time. Inertia constant is high, then machine will have higher fault clearing time. So higher inertia constant means machine has higher stability limit, higher transient stability limit. Inertia constant is high, that means higher transient stability limit. So that is the factor, second factor, inertia constant. Now third one is excitation of generator. So we can say that if excitation will increase, then the generated EMF will increase. Suppose excitation is increased, then generated EMF will increase, and due to that terminal voltage will also increase. Due to that terminal voltage will also increase. So if excitation of generator increase, then power transfer in transmission line before fault, during fault and after fault will increase, because the increment in excitation will increase the terminal voltage and generated EMF of transmit alternator. So it will increase the power transfer capability of system, and due to that power transfer in transmission line before fault, during fault and after fault will increase. So if excitation of generator will increase, transient stability limit will also increase. So that is the third point of factor affecting transient stability limit. Now fourth point is fault location and type of fault. So we can say that fault is far from relay location, the reactance of line will be increased. We know that relay will operate based on the impedance of transmission line. To locate the fault, relay will use the impedance from fault point to relay point. So if fault is far from relay, then the reactance of that line will increase, and if reactance will increase, transient stability limit will reduce, because we know that power is proportional to, inversely proportional to reactance. So if fault location is far from relay location, then reactance will increase, and it will reduce the power transfer capability of line. So if relay fault is far from the relay point, then reactance will increase and it will make transient stability limit lower. It will reduce the transient stability limit. And you can say the vice versa case. If fault is near to the relay, reactance will reduce and it will again improve the transient stability limit. So that is the fourth point. Now fifth point is operation of circuit breaker. So if circuit breaker are fast in operation, then it will reduce the fault clearing time. It will reduce the fault clearing time, and it is obvious thing that if fault clearing time will reduce, then it will improve the transient stability limit. Clear? Fast and rapid operation of switching devices like circuit breaker will reduce the fault clearing time, and in that way it will improve the transient stability limit. Sixth one is connection method of high voltage buses. So there are two types of connection, double circuit line and single circuit line. Now compared to single circuit line, double circuit line is having a less reactance. So if reactance is less, power transfer capability will high, and in that case transient stability limit will improve. Now compared to double circuit line, single circuit line have higher reactance, and due to that power transfer capability will reduce, and in that case transient stability limit will also reduce. Clear? So this I have mentioned this topic with respect to each other. Clear? So compared to single circuit line, double circuit line is having a lesser reactance. So if reactance is less, power transfer capability will high and it will improve the transient stability limit. And compared to double circuit line, single circuit line has higher reactance, so it will reduce the power transfer capability of line and it will reduce the transient stability limit. So that is the sixth point. Now seventh point is shunt and series compensation. So as we all know that series compensation will reduce the net transfer reactance of transmission line. Clear? If we add the capacitor bank in series with line, it will reduce the overall reactance of line. So if reactance will reduce, power transfer capability will improve, and due to that transient stability limit will also increase. So that is the effect of series compensation. And in the case of shunt compensation will provide the reactive power to the line whenever there is a high loading situation. So in that way shunt compensation will reduce the reactive power loading on generator. So in that sense it will improve the power transfer capability of line and hence improve the transient stability limit. So that is the effect of shunt and series compensation on transient stability limit. Now eighth point is single pole opening and reclosing. So as we all know that many faults are not permanent in nature. Clear? Many faults in system are not permanent in nature, and hence single pole opening and reclosing arrangement is reliable, cheap and economical solution. So as we all know that line to ground fault is a common fault and most frequently occur fault. So single pole switching, the circuit breaker open the faulty line and remaining healthy phases are continue to supply the power. So after clearance of fault, that faulty phase can be returned to service and after it has been de-energized for sufficient time. So to remove the fault, that faulty phase has been de-energized for some time, and after the removal of fault, that faulty phase can be returned to the service. So we do not require to open all the three phase. Clear? Whenever there is a fault in system, so we will open the line in which the fault will occur. So single pole opening and reclosing will improve the stability limit in a sense that it will only opens the faulty line and remaining phases continue to supply the power. So in that sense it will improve the transient stability limit. Now ninth factor is fault resistance, or we can say that breaking resistance. So when in a transmission line large load is suddenly lost, then in that case we are going to connect the resistive load, which is also called breaking resistor. Clear? When large load is suddenly lost, we are going to connect a breaking resistor, which is nothing but a purely resistive load, and we are going to connect that purely resistive load near to generator bus. So what that resistive load will do, it will compensate the reduction of load. It will compensate that reduction in load and it will reduce the acceleration of generator. Clear? It will reduce the acceleration of generator. So we will connect the resistive load near to generator bus, so it will not accelerate due to that suddenly lost load. So in that manner we are going to improve the transient stability limit of system. and we are going to connect that braking resistor through circuit breaker. Clear? Normally these circuit breaker are open, and if large load is suddenly lost, then these circuit breaker are these resistor are closed by using circuit breaker, and it will compensate that reduction in load, so generator acceleration will reduce. So in this way we are going to improve the transient stability limit. 10th point is line reactor. So we all know that line reactor are used for limiting the current. So in that way it will improve the transient stability limit. So this improve the voltage during fault condition. Line reactors will improve the voltage during faulty condition, and it will also improve the amount of load. It will also improve the amount of load, and hence it will reduce the mechanical input and electrical output of generator. So that is known as line reactance, and it will used to limit the current, and hence it will improve the transient stability limit. 11th point is automatic voltage regulator. So whenever there is a fault occurs in the system, the voltage are going to reduce. Clear? Whenever there is a fault in system, voltage is reduced. So what generator will do, that reduction in voltage is sensed by this automatic voltage regulator. Clear? That reduction in voltage is sensed by that automatic voltage regulator, and it will give a command signal to excitation system. So excitation system will increase the amount of excitation, and in that way this voltage will restore at particular bus where the fault is occur. So automatic voltage regulator will increase the transient stability limit by adjusting the voltage at each and every bus. So that is the 11th point. Now 12th point is valve action of governing mechanism. So in modern system, the valve action is rapid and fast. Due to advancement in technology, the valve opening and closing at each governing system is very fast, and that rapid operation of valve mechanism during fault, it will improve the transient stability limit. So we can say that during fault condition the valve will operate fast and rapid, and due to that fast controlling action, system can restore the faulty condition very rapidly and fastly. So in this sense the fast valve action improve the transient stability limit. 13th point is value of short circuit ratio of generator. So now in modern generator has lower short circuit ratio. Modern generator has lower short circuit ratio. That means modern generator are reduced in size, reduced in weight, and reduced in cost. And due to that reduction in size, and weight, there is a large reduction in inertia constant of synchronous machine. Clear? So if inertia constant is lower, then it will reduce the transient stability limit. Clear? So that is also another factor that will affect the transient stability limit, that is the value of short circuit ratio. So if short circuit ratio is lower, then it has lower inertia constant, and due to that transient stability limit will reduce. 14th point is automatic reclosing circuit breaker. So nowadays automatic reclosing circuit breaker are used to clear the fault, and due to that automatic reclosing, transient stability limit will improve. And 15th and last point is operating frequency of system. So operating frequency affect the transient stability limit in a way that if lower frequency of operation, then reactance will reduce, because we all know that reactance is proportional to frequency. X is equal to 2 pi FL. So if frequency goes down, reactance will goes down, and that will improve the stability limit. But if frequency will remain constant, reactance will remain constant. And if by means of anyhow frequency will reduce, reactance will reduce, and it will improve the power transfer capability, and vice versa. If frequency will increase, reactance will increase, and it will reduce the power transfer capability. So frequency will affect the transient stability limit in this manner. Now let discuss the methods to improve the transient stability limit. Methods to improve the transient stability limit. So first method is braking resistor. So as we have already discussed that when large load is suddenly lost, we are going to connect the resistive load. It is also known as braking resistor. We are going to connect that braking resistor near the generator bus. So that suddenly lost load will compensate by this braking resistor. Clear? We are going to compensate that sudden loss of load by connecting the braking resistor near to the generator bus. So if load will reduce, then generator will starts to accelerate. But if immediately we are going to connect that resistive load, so it will reduce the acceleration of generator. Clear? So in this way we are going to improve the transient stability limit of system, and these braking resistor are applied through circuit breaker. Normally these resistors are open. Whenever there is a sudden loss of load, we are going to connect the braking resistor near to generator bus, and in this way we are going to improve the transient stability limit. Okay, next method to improve transient stability is single pole switching. So as we already discussed that line to ground fault is a common fault. Clear? Most of the fault are not permanent in nature, and most frequently occur fault is line to ground fault. So what we are going to do is, whenever there is a line to ground fault, we are not going to open all the three lines of transmission system. That we will do by using the single pole switching. So single pole switching, in this method of opening line, circuit breaker opens the faulty line only, and the remaining two healthy phases continue to supply the power. Clear? So that opening line will be de-energized for sufficient time. That means the removal of fault. So after that de-energization, that faulty phase can be returned to service after the fault is clear. So by just opening the faulty line only, we are going to improve the transient stability limit. So that is the second method to improving the transient stability. Third point is fast acting automatic voltage regulator. So whenever the fault occur on a system, voltage at buses are reduced. Clear? Because of fault, voltage at buses are reduced. So this reduction in voltage is sensed by automatic voltage regulator. So it will give command to generator excitation system, and by increasing the amount of excitation and by increasing the amount of mechanical input, we are going to balance the voltage during that large disturbance. So in this manner we are going to improve the transient stability limit. Again, fourth point is by using double circuit line. So double circuit line as we have already discussed, double circuit line has lesser amount of reactance. So if reactance is less, power transfer capability will improve, and in this manner transient stability limit will also improve. And single circuit line has higher amount of reactance compared to double circuit line, so power transfer capability due to that high reactance will reduce, and transient stability limit will also decrease if line is single circuit. So we are going to use the double circuit line. Clear? We are going to use the double circuit line because it will improve the transient stability limit by reducing the line reactance, because double circuit line has lower reactance compared to single circuit line. Single circuit line has higher amount of reactance. Now fifth point is series compensated line. So we already know that to a transmission line reactance can be reduced by adding the capacitor bank, because capacitor bank will reduce the overall reactance of transmission line. So inductive reactance of transmission line can be reduced by connecting the series capacitor with transmission line. So this inductive reactance is compensated by this capacitive reactance. So overall reactance of transmission line is reduced, and due to that power transfer capability will increase, and in that way transient stability limit will improve. So that is the use of series capacitor line. Now sixth point is use of bundle conductor. So we already know that bundle conductor reduce the reactance of transmission line, so that will also improve the power transfer capability of line, and in that manner we can improve the transient stability limit. Okay, seventh point is high speed excitation system. So high speed excitation system is also one of the useful idea to improve the power transfer capability of line and improve the transient stability of transmission line. High speed excitation system will maintain the synchronism of generator. Clear? The main advantage of high speed excitation system is that it can maintain the synchronism during fault. How can it will maintain the synchronism during fault? It can increase the excitation level fast, rapid or quickly. So that quick operation will maintain the synchronism with grid. So high speed governor are used for quick adjustment of generator input. So that is also another idea of improving the transient stability limit. Seventh point is fast switching. So we have already discussed that nowadays it is necessary that fault should be clear as fast as possible. So we can say that the time required for fault removal is the total time of relay response plus breaker operating time. So we can say that fault clearing time is equal to time required by relay plus time required by circuit breaker. Clear? Total fault clearing time is the summation of time required by relay and time required by breaker. Total time of fault clearing time is the summation of relay time plus breaker time. So high speed relay and high speed circuit breaker are combinedly used to reduce the fault clearing time, and it is possible when there is a fast switching. So the combined time taken by relay and breaker, if it will reduce, then overall fault clearing time will reduce, and again it will improve the transient stability limit. So that is the seventh point. eighth point is load shedding. So if there is a sufficient generation that will maintain the system frequency in particular area, then it is okay. But if there is not sufficient generation that will maintain the frequency, then some of the generator are disconnected during that faulty time, and that is known as load shedding. So if we have sufficient generation that will maintain the system frequency in a range, then it is okay. But if generation is not sufficient, that due to that system frequency will not remain constant, so what we have to do? So we have to disconnect some of the generator from the grid, and in that way we are going to maintain the transient stability limit. So the removal of generator from the grid is known as load shedding. And if that disturbance is removed after some time, then we can get back to that generator and we will connect that generator to the grid. So again we will supply the load. So stability is improved by means of load shedding. Now next point is HVDC link. So we can say that DC line provides the coupling between two AC system that can be interconnected, that is known as the HVDC link. So now this DC line provides the interconnection of two AC system which can connected at different frequencies, and one of the major advantage of this HVDC link is that there is no transfer of fault from one AC system to another AC system if they are interlinked by DC tie line. So if there is no transfer of fault, we can say that there is no any kind of interlink disturbance, because that two AC system is connected by DC line. So in this manner we are going to improve the transient stability limit. So these are the method of improving the transient stability limit. So thank you very much. If you like my video, then you can like it, share it, and subscribe my YouTube channel Himanshu Joshi. And if you have any doubt, any question regarding any topic of interconnected power system, then you can comment and I will solve your doubt. So thank you very much.